Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Sita Al Asari. My student number is 112 from class C. Today I will explanations about my article, and the title of my article is The Woman's Struggle to Fight Discrimination Depicted in Hidden Figures Movie 2016, A Feminist Perspective. Okay, Chapter 1. This is a background, problem statement, and research objective. And the first is background. Discrimination is an attitude that should be avoided as early as possible. Discriminatory attitudes can make someone limit the rights of others. The statement shows that discrimination is directly or indirectly based on restrictions, harassment, or exclusion based on the differences in religion, ethnicity, race, class social status, economic status, gender, language, and political beliefs. This leads to the reductions, deviation, or elimination, recognition, application, or use of human rights and fundamental freedoms in political, economic, legal, social, cultural, and other aspects of individual and collective life. Hidden Figures movie is a film that tells the struggle of three women to fight against the climate of segregation or separation of race or skin color that occurs in Afro-American. The three female characters are Katherine G. Johnson, Mary Jackson, and Dorothy Fagan. The impact of discrimination is not only felt by the victim but also the perpetrator. First, from the victim's point of view, discrimination will cause a person to experience a reduction, deviation to abolition of recognition, implementation, and fulfillment of his basic rights as human beings. And the second problem statement, and the first is what are the indicator of discrimination experienced by African American women in Hidden Figures movie, and the second is how are the women's struggle fight to discrimination depicted in Hidden Figures movie, and the third is why did the author specially address discrimination in Hidden Figures movie. And the next is the research objective. The first is the research wants to identify the indicator of discrimination in Hidden Figures movie, which are the discrimination because gender, race in NASA. The researcher also wants to describe how the woman struggle as main character to fight discrimination in NASA depicted in Hidden Figures movie. And the third is the researcher also wants to reveal the reason why discrimination is especially addressed in Hidden Figures movie. And Chapter 2. In the Chapter 2, such as previous study, underlying theory, and novelty. And the first is previous study. Ciara Febrianti, Agnes Tiowati, Nimade Widya Santi, 2019. The title is The Struggle of African American Female Character in Margot Lee Sterling's novel Hidden Figures movie. The results show analysis the struggle of the main female character fighting for their rights as fellow human beings, especially women who desire the freedom to get a better life, not limited by the race they have. And the second is Rexi Sri Haryanti Singgi Daru Kuncara Nitamaya Valentin, 2019. The title is Discrimination Toward African American Women as Portrayed in Hidden Figures. The analysis showed that at first the victim responded to the discrimination by withdrawal followed by resigned acceptance and ended by verbal confrontation. In the film, the analysis showed that after verbal confrontation with people no longer discriminate against African American people for their race or gender. And the third is Tiara Ika Putri Christianingrum 2018. The title is The Struggle of American Women Against the Double Discrimination Revealed in the Hidden Figures movie. The result of the research in Hidden Figures show that African American women face double discrimination in race and gender. The racial discrimination is shown in the form of cheating limits access to facilities, underpaid salary, accusation of black empowerment. And the next is Andre Ixano Jakarudi 2020. The title is Representation of Black Feminism in Hidden Figures movie. The research article deals about exploring Patricia Hill Collins' theory of black feminism and to integrate in the film's dichotomy theory of face negotiation. And the next is Listiana Ikawati 2018. The title is Afro-American Woman Discrimination on Hidden Figures movie, a critical discourse analysis. This study investigates to discriminate against three Afro-American women in Hidden Figures. The results show that the discrimination in the movie can be differentiated into discrimination based on the level and the cause. The discrimination based on the level includes the individual, institutional, and structural discrimination. And the next is by Rini Suwamaningsi Syahrudi Junaid Nahdayah 2020. The title is Audience Response of Raxis in Hidden Figures movie. The study shows varied response toward the races of the Hidden Figures movie. The response of the audience is classified into two categories, positive and negative response. And the next is underlying theory. The first is theory of character and characterizations. Characters are actors who bring events in fictional stories so that this event can be woven into a story. Aminuddin in Nugriantoro 1995. Meanwhile, characterization has a broader meaning than character. Characterization includes the problem of who the characters are, how the characterization are, and how they are placed and depicted in a story so that they are able to provide a clear picture to the reader. There are 4 categories of characters according to Burhan Nugiantoro. And the first is leaders and additional leaders. Second, protagonist and antagonist. The third is flat character and round character. And the last is static character and the developing character. The research used theory of character and characterizations in order to present into African American women who experienced the discriminations in NASA during the Cold War. And the second is theory of setting. The settings or setting of the story is also called the story base, referring to the notion of place, the relationship between time and history, and the social environment in which the event is told. Setting can be divided into 3 elements. Namely, the first is the settings of the place, show the location of the events being told. And the second is the setting of time is related to the problem of when the event told in a work of fiction occur. And the third is socio-cultural background refers to matter relating to behavior of the social life of the community in a place. In the study, research specially used the 3 types of settings. The first is past setting because Hidden Figures is a depiction of African American operation in the 1960s. The second is a familiar place setting because Hidden Figures take place in a real city in the United States. And the third is setting of atmosphere, which aims to reveal how the atmosphere defines the resistance of African American women fight discriminations. And the third is theory discrimination. And the first is racial discrimination. Racial discrimination is an evil change that already existed for years. It demonizes minorities under the oppressor power. Racial discrimination has significance in humankind history. As stated in Race and Culture, awards viewed by Thomas Sowell, racial, ethnic, and cultural differences among people play a major role in the events of our times in countries around the world and have played a major role with the long history of human race. And the second is gender discrimination. Gender discrimination has placed women in lower positions than men. Women are only the object to support men's social, political, and economic activities. Women do not have a right to own property rights, nor have a say in elections. According to in the family secretary, women have lost their say that freedom. Their sole role is to nurse their children and husband. And the fourth is theory of feminism. In the theory of feminism, such as multicultural feminism. Multicultural feminism was born in America as a response of black feminists with white feminists. In other words, black view the words of women differently from white feminists understand, because they from different race, different cultural and historical backgrounds. And the next is liberal feminism. The basis of understanding liberal feminism are the principles of liberalism. The aim of liberal feminism is to create a just and caring society where freedom develops. Thus, in such a society, both women and men can develop themselves. Liberal feminism in the 18th century fought for equal education, and the 19th century fought for equal political rights and economic opportunities. And the last of Chapter 2 is novelty. For material, novelty that I choose is still there because it's the theory of feminism. There are several types, so that this research can contribute to understanding the form, function, and consequence of how the main character use the strategy to fight discrimination, and from this research is also expected to be a reference for other researchers to develop their research. And Chapter 3, such as types of study, type of data and data source, object of study, method of collecting data, and the last is technique of collecting data. And the first is type of study. The research design of this research is formed as a study of film. To analyze this film, the research used mimetic approach. The mimetic approach is used in this research to describe the discriminations happens in Hidden Figures films as reality issue or imitation of life. The research method of use the study is descriptive qualitative, because the data are served in word instead of number, and the data are analyzed with meaning instead of statistic. These methods are used in this research in order to identify the indicator of discrimination in Hidden Figures movie, which are the discrimination because of gender and race in NASA. The research also wants to describe how the woman struggle as main character to face discriminations in NASA depicted in Hidden Figures, and the research also wants to reveal the reason why discrimination is especially addressed in Hidden Figures movie. And the next is type of data and data source. The data of this research are some conversation, dialogues, narrations, and some scenes with explanation of action of the character in Hidden Figures film throughout 126 minutes and 43 second duration. The data are only information that has absolute relation with discrimination toward African Americans in this film. And the next is object of the study. Material object is film or movie. This movie directed by Theodore Melfi and produced by Donna Gigliotti, Peter Termin, Geno Topping, Pharrell Williams, and Theodore Melfi. That this film is Hidden Figures movie. The script from the film was written by Alison Schroeder and Theodore Melfi based on Margaret Satterley books Hidden Figures. The film stars Taraji P. Henson, who plays Katherine Jensen, the mathematician calculating the flight trajectory of the 1969 Mercury and Apollo 11 project to the moon. The film also stars Octavia Spencer, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst, and James Parsons. Hidden Figures film released by the company Fox 2000 Pictures, produced by Churnin Entertainment, Levantan Film, TSG Entertainment, and its distributor 20th Century Fox. The film release data is December 10, 2016, Theater School of Visual Arts, December 25, 2016, limits in the United States, January 6, 2017, widely in the United States, and place of publisher in the United States. Formal objects is a woman's struggle to fight discrimination against skin color and gender by showing her skills in NASA, which is depicted in Hidden Figures. And the next is method of collecting data. The data collection method that is used in this research is observation method. The observation is done by first watching Hidden Figures film, listening carefully to the conversations, and reading the script of the film repeatedly in order to get better understanding of every scene and content of the story, and taking notes of all the important information. And the second step is choosing and selecting the data which have relation to the research problems in the research and make it become a narrative story. And the next is technique of collecting data. After the data, information and theories that are related to the research by collects, the research analyzes the data by using an attractive model analysis by Mills and Huberman. In this research, the analysis is done by first selecting, simplifying, abstracting, and transforming raw data that have been collected according its relation to research questions, then following by displaying and analyzing the data that portray discriminations or response against the discrimination, and last is drawing the conclusion after the data had been analyzed. And this is the last is references. Okay, thank you. I think that's all. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.